incredible. They seem to catch their opponent out again and again.
Yeah, that's right, and that's always something which is so important in the current meta. So let's see if they can do that once again with Darkest Muzan. And they seem to go in with a really creative attempt to go for a Suilalo with skeleton spells. Only one lightning with them, which I feel like is going to go for the enemy Royal Champion, enemy Headhunters in the defending flank castle. But so far, it's not going as planned. I feel like this Royal Champ was meant to go for the enemy scatter on the left side, but instead, it's switching its target and is going for the middle one.
Yeah, by sending the King and Queen in, he definitely had enough damage to take down that scatter shot, so you're absolutely right. I think the RC was meant for the left-hand side scatter shot. He's going to have to deal with that. Maybe just sending in some balloons, depending on... Because I think he's got the battle blimp for the town hall here, but we'll have to see. As he takes out the clan castle troops, this is where we will see either the next phase of the attack or no. It is going to be the lava loon with the battle blimp moving all of the way through.
Yeah, but this is like a really interesting setup, especially with the Electro Dragon in there as well. I think this Electro Dragon is meant to go for the enemy Royal Champion, but I feel like so far it's not working. But those bounces of like those chains of this Electro Dragon are just insane. The ward ability for the Town Hall, and that's looking really good. Now with the Tornado Trap is making sure that everything is like keep on like in one place. So maybe Red Binds would be really, really dangerous. But it's all about this back-end scatter. We already said this scatter was supposed to go down from the Royal Champion at the beginning, but he has 2 freezes left and another haste. This is looking pretty good for Darkest Muzan.
This is exactly what they needed. It's almost exactly what you were saying in the last war, Itsu, where he uses a strategy which is pretty popular, but also puts his own spin on it, using the battle blimp to take out the top area of the base, so he could just drive the balloons directly through the middle. And it has worked out incredibly. I mean, he has shredded the entire base. He's got plenty of time with minions and lava pups around, and KLY, which he is one of the new additions to Darkest Muzan, starts us off again here with a world finalist team having a 3-star to apply the pressure to yesterday's winners. Wow, I don't think we expected anything less for this war.
No, indeed, we did not expect anything less. Really good start, but I feel like so far, on every single match we had, whoever was in the lead after the second attack is going to win the war. So let's see if this is going to happen for this one as well. That would be a pretty cool prediction at this point, I feel like. But we have to wait for the first 2 attacks to go in. But already at this point, as I said, putting up the pressure on Jake's Tiger is a huge thing, especially for a new team like they are. It's maybe... Let's see how they get into it, but especially after the performance yesterday, I feel like they can be pretty going into this match with a pretty solid mindset. So let's see if they can somehow turn this into a solid attack and turn this into a 3-star to put a bit more of pressure again back onto Darkest Muzan.
Absolutely. And I think for the most part, actually, most of the clans that took the lead in the first round progressed. I think it was maybe only the 11 original war where it was the second round that they moved forward. So we will have to see. That's certainly the trend we have been seeing, making sure to put your good players up first, or your better players. I shouldn't really say that because we know how stacked the rosters are, but some players have more experience, and being able to put them up first, get the 3 stars on the board, seems to be what is happening here, particularly with, as you mentioned earlier on in the stream, Itsu, that the hit rate tends to go up towards the end of the war.
Yeah, and now we have the first attack for Jake's Tiger, and they're doing exactly what they did yesterday with this smash strategy, but they're bringing a small twist to this. They are using 4 earthquakes. Like normally you're running like a lot of rages, a lot of freezes, and obviously the poison, but he is not bringing a single poison to this party, and he is just bringing a ton of earthquakes to get the entire core open. I feel like he's going to jump into that multi-inflammatory compartment and then opening up the entire left base.
It would certainly be good, but look at the damage already going in onto the healers down to that side. The Grand Warden, relatively safe, but he's taken a little bit of damage here. Nothing too drastic as long as he can keep out of the way of red air bombs, but the baby dragon creates a funnel ready for the Grand Warden to get the multi-target Inferno is his target, and he's around about on track here, Itsu, because you have said throughout the stream about 1 minute is when you want to have finished your Grand Warden walk, and it looks like that is literally bang on the marker.
That's right. Now he needs to use his P.E.K.K.A. and his Queen everything to lure back the Warden. Otherwise, the Warden is going to do his own thing on that right side. The first healers are about to die already because they took so much damage from this Wizard Tower that their defense had like an easy way to take them down. Now it's all about how can those troops get into that town hall, get into that back end. The Hawk Rush on the siege perks, I feel like were not worth it so much because the town explosion and the bomb tower are doing great work of taking them down. I feel like this attack is not looking as good as we saw yesterday because the healers are just not switching to the P.E.K.K.A, which means if those tanks not getting healed up again, this is spelling bad news for those P.E.K.K.A and for the attacker.
Oh, just as you are saying that, I just continue to hear that noise as the P.E.K.K.A are slowly being destroyed. All of the tanks in front there going down leaves the super wizards vulnerable. Whilst they can do a little bit of damage, they're really not able to get through here, and it's not the start that was wanted from JX Tiger. Darkest Muzhan looks like they have an early advantage moving into this one as we continue to hear the troops going down. The Queen is next on the hit list, and the witches on the outside just won't be enough.
Yeah, there won't be enough against like defenses like those Expos. They have a really high fire rate, which means those skeletons with the low HP they have no chance against this. The healers are trying their best to keep those witches alive, but there is no chance. And this is going to finish off with like an 83%, which obviously is not the percentage you would like to go for. So 83, maybe 84 in the end. Let's see if this archer is quick enough.
Ooh, nope. Not quite quick enough. Interestingly, Holy Light did start things off yesterday for JX Tiger with a 3-star versus Space Station Gaming. So they have a little bit of a slip up there, giving the advantage to Darkest Muzhan. Still 4 attacks to go. We've seen how impressive they were yesterday, so I don't think they have anything to worry about just yet. But we also know from last year, I mean, they qualified right into the final, just how good Darkest Muzhan are. And I'm interested to see how these roster changes are going to impact their strength as well. One of the new players already getting that 3-star, so arguably they have their more experienced players still to come.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope so. I mean, we saw JX Tiger such in a good way yesterday that I hope that they can somehow get back to this form. Would be kind of not that cool to have like a really one-sided match again, like the Tompina Empire match, where they really like show like their match was just incredible. They're showing their preparation, everything. So let's see if Darkest Muzhan can do the same, or if this was going to be a bit closer with the next attack failing or not failing. Let's see. We have a Super Witch attack once again on our hands. There are no lightnings, which most of the time is telling us this is going to be a Warden walk for that town hall, and exactly that is going to be the case with the Warden placed right on top of that base.
He's got plenty of time to do so. Interestingly, Darkest Muzhan putting both of their newcomers into the roster up first to then finish with their most experienced players. And picking up on your point, Itsu, I think JX Tiger and the performance they showed yesterday are certainly going to be fighting back here. I don't think they could put up as good of a performance and then lose out so drastically today. So I'm excited to see how they come back. But the Grand Warden walk continues. Like you said, it's normally about 1 minute, so you have plenty of time to get in towards the town hall. The rage spell used just to speed him up through that area, because you always have to be worried about time with a super witch attack. But again, on this one, it is around about just the 1 minute mark when we are seeing the next set of troops being deployed.
That's right, and it's a really interesting looking base, to be honest. Like, having those army camps inside is a really uncommon thing, because like army camps normally are not the best defense, I would argue, because, well, they're not really doing anything and they're having not too much hit points either. So kind of interested to have like a reasoning why they have them inside the base, but maybe just against pathing, not really sure. Either way, we have those super witches now entering that base, and we have still 1 jump spell left. I guess he's going to wait and let his Super Witches beat through the next wall, and then he's going to jump on top of the sweeper, or maybe the clan cards, one of those two.
Yeah, I think that would be a wise choice, certainly, as you have a little bit more momentum initially to get through that wall. Finally, he does punch through, and the queen goes down. There is the jump bang on top of the air sweeper, as you said, because that provides access to both different compartments. Still has the royal champion to go. Maybe he'll deploy her at 6 to reinforce, or at 12. It is going to be 6 o'clock in order to help out with the hog riders. It looks relatively good here as the queen takes down the scatter shot.
Yeah, the queen takes down the scatter at the bottom side. We have that freeze. Maybe a headhunter could have been really helpful over there as well. But you can see on the top left side, there is the entire Tesla farm still left. Jax Tiger predicted the Warden Walk, but predicted it on a different side, because this Tesla farm is only to mess up a Warden Walk right there. And let's see if those witches can somehow speed things up, because time is ticking and we're already close to the 20-second mark.
Yeah, he's going to have to use that Royal Champion's ability pretty soon, if nothing else, just to allow his cleanup troops to be deployed. There goes the Royal Champion's ability. Oh, the Skelly Trap is popped, and that's going to distract things moving down into the last couple of seconds. That could very well be the difference maker. We do have some high HP storages, but I doubt they would have got through anyway. And 97% on that one for Darkus Muzhan means that JX Tiger could very well fight back pretty quickly here. If they were to get a 3-star, they'd still be behind on percentage just that little bit, but they would indeed have their confidence back moving into the latter half of the war.
Yeah, that's right. They need this 3-star to get back into this match. Need to make sure they're staying close to Darkus Muzan. As you said, the percentage lead which Darkus Muzan has right now is really, really large, considering that they had 100% and 99, so 97, so really close to this 200 perfect mark, which they could achieve. On the other side, JX Tiger in the first attack did not get that many percentage points, so now it's really important to get that triple in. That is Vic coming in, and he is going in once again with the same smash strategy, but this time he is not bringing a ton of earthquakes. Instead, he is bringing 2 jump spells to get through the entire base.
Well, he did the exact same thing yesterday, and he did get the 3 stars. The base is a little bit more spread out, Itsu, so the jump spells probably provide him better pathing, and the earthquakes wouldn't necessarily give him his good value. Might have been able to reach everything there, but the 2 jump spells just actually is a little bit more secure, as he uses one of them for the outside of the base.
Yeah, using one really early on, making sure his troops can actually get into that base. On the right side, we have the Siege Barracks with the P.E.K.K.A. pushing everything inside, making sure those troops that have actually like a clear path through the base. Now that freeze, making sure everything is staying alive. The Rage, the Warden ability is going to be used in a second. And this as an entry is looking really, really solid with that jump, giving it the access to the entire base with his smash.
It looks incredible. Just seeing the chain effect of the Super Wizards blasting through that area is incredible. And I love that the jump spell is focused to the right-hand side of the base, because he knows he has Royal Champion and Hog Riders jumping over the walls of the bottom side of the base. And it has worked out perfectly on that section. But the Queen now a little bit vulnerable over to the other side of the base. She can use the ability to take down the Royal Champion, but she's not going to get too much more. It's all about the force now from the south of the base, how easily it can get around, but I think it's looking relatively good here with the Royal Champion ability and a freeze.
This is looking really good. With over 1 minute left, I think we saw a lot of time fades already, but this one is looking really solid with those Hog Riders, with the Royal Champion ability, as you said, and another freeze. So if something is going wrong at this point, he can just make sure everything is frozen with the Royal Champ ability. It should be an easy way to finish things off. 1 sneaky goblin still not used, making sure that there is some value. But this, with the Royal Champion ability, should be no problem. And this means Vic, as yesterday, as you said, is going to get the 3-star in, making sure JX Tiger is staying close to Darkus Muzan. And this 3-star was so important for the match, and was so important for JX Tiger as well, to make sure the gap in between of Darkus Muzan and them are really, really close.
It certainly was, and Vic told us that his favorite troop is the Super Wizard, so it's no surprise that he utilized that within his army composition, getting exactly what was required. The 3-star ties things up now on stars. Yes, Darkus Muzan still have that little bit of a percentage advantage, but after 2 rounds, it looks a little bit more difficult to call. We knew this war was going to be a close one, Itsu. Would you say Darkus Muzan, I know you were talking before about the team that is ahead at the second round of attacks tends to win. Would you say Darkus Muzan have that big of an advantage here?
It's obviously hard to tell if the advantage is big enough. I mean, the main thing so far for most of the teams was just that they have the advantage. We saw this, for example, in the 11 original war as well, where they had a really, like a small percentage lead just. But in the end, it was enough to push that over the rest, like all of the remaining attacks. So let's see if Darkus Muzan can do the same. I mean, we saw already a couple of upsets today. I think anything can happen, obviously, especially considering that we have 6 attacks left, right? So only 4 out of the 10 attacks so far got used in this clan war. But obviously, having a small percentage lead is something which is giving you a better feeling going into the last couple of attacks. But at the same time, Darkus Muzan need this pressure keep going, and they try to do this with Wei, the 2019 World Championship MVP. So let's see if he is the right choice to go at this base.
You mentioned it there. He has the experience, and Darkus Muzan need a 3-star here to really just flip things around, change the momentum back in their favor, because arguably now JX Tiger have got the ball rolling. Darkus Muzan need to stop that as soon as possible. We do see the Archer Tower getting a little bit of damage onto the healers, but nothing too bad there as the balloon takes it down. The Queen can continue exactly as is planned. Oh, but 2 black bombs takes down 2 healers. Itsu now decides to send the Coco Loon just in case there's any more.
Wow, and there were even more spring traps. I feel like those spring traps were kind of nothing, basically. I feel like those spring traps were supposed to take down this wall break, but now we have the enemy super minions coming out of the clan cast. There's a lot of damage on that Queen with this ground expo shooting from the left side as well. Maybe even she has to use her ability. Yes, she's doing, but she's dying in her ability. Oh no! This could not happen to Darkus Muzan, but this now is the chance, obviously, for JX Tiger to come back. If Darkus Muzan, if Wei cannot save this attack, I mean, there is still a lot of things which can happen, especially with the healer switching to protect those troops, the rage spell on top of that town hall, making sure it's getting bursted down really quickly. Those hiders are switching over to those hybrid troops, keeping the miners, keeping the Hawk Red alive. Now the freeze onto the scatter, but missing the scatter, just hitting that Queen and Expo, which is obviously great value, but now he needs to invest that heal to make sure everything is staying alive, to get into the back end, get into that eagle.
Losing the momentum of your Queen charge so early on is crucial, but Wei is doing everything he can to respond here, and I have to say it is an absolute masterclass, because the Hog Riders and Miners have shredded through this base. And as long as he can get the single target Inferno, it could still happen. Skelly Traps pop. He's got Hog Riders and Miners now closing in. A bunch of Wizards that would help clear the remaining defenses. But can he get that single? I've just noticed the Pecker at the top right of your screen as well, which would be huge in finishing this off. Single target Inferno goes down. Itsu, can he still do this despite losing his Queen? He absolutely can at this stage.
Wow, 30 seconds left and only a couple of defenses with this war to stay alive, and obviously this P.E.K.K.A coming in as well. Wei is showing why he was the MVP of 2019, the World Championship. Taking this home from this start is quite impressive, but at the same time, what we have to mention as well was the trap placement of JX Tiger. I feel like there was not a single trap, not a single spring trap against this hybrid. I feel like there were no hogs, no minus flying whatsoever, so that was a huge surprise. Maybe they predicted some sort of a different entry when it came down to the Queen charge. Either way, the traps did not work off or paid off in this base. So Wei somehow was able to save this and still making sure that this match is in favor for Darkus Muzan.
Yeah, maybe they were expecting a P.E.K.K.A Smash style entry whereby the spring traps wouldn't have really impacted them, but either way, being able to switch an attack just like that when you lose your queen is ever so impressive. He did get quite a bit of value before she went down, but the fact that she went down and he still spun it around was fantastic. And you have to say the hybrid was deployed super quick. His reactions were very, very quick. He didn't wait around and think about what he was doing. He just knew he had to send that hybrid in to fix the attack.
Yeah, that's right. And something which is important about hybrid to mention is that when the queen is dying, it's not the end of the world, because those healers are going to transition over to the miners, to the hawk riders, and going to heal really nicely. And let's see if Jake's Tigers can once again get back, get on the same level as Darkest Muzan when it comes down to the triple count. And they're trying to do this with this Super Witch attack. And he is bringing in a skeleton spell for the backhand. That's really interesting. That's normally done to kind of like tank a single Inferno Tower, for example. So let's see where exactly this is going to be used to distract some of the defenses, or maybe even a hero. Either way, the one Watchtower Force looking pretty solid. There's one Archer on the right side and doing some funneling as well. Like, obviously you want to do the cheapest funnel, but only using one Archer, that's a pretty cheap funnel indeed.
Yeah, when you're funneling, you do have to consider how long it's going to take that troop to get through as well, because that's obviously a factor on here, but he has managed to get the funnel set, everything moving on the inside. We've still got the king on the outside of the base. I keep getting drawn down to the troop bar, Itsu, because it is so long with all of the variety of spells he has. But let's focus on the attack with the jump spell, giving him access into the center. That will mean everything is tanked. And yeah, the skeleton spell is going to be used probably for one of those scatter shot on the outside of the base.
Yeah, trying to distract the scatter, trying to distract the enemy queen, obviously, as well, or the royal champion, or maybe even the enemy king. Let's see where exactly he's going to use that. So far, not have been used. The freezes and the invisibility spell obviously are going to be used for those back-end defenses to keep the royal champion alive. And this so far is looking, I would say, interesting, because most of those super witches died eventually. Now it's all about the queen, and she's dying her ability as well. No. What is going on? What is going on? You should always use the queen ability early enough, especially if their defenses like scatter shots, like the enemy defending warden. Things like that are really scary to their queen, and the auto queen ability is not always protecting her from things like that. And we have the healers with that super witch at the top side. The royal champion meanwhile is trying to get to the bottom, now freezing up the expo and the warden together. Judo, can this still somehow be a miracle run and be a triple, or it kind of looks like a defense? What do you say?
Yeah, I would think so. He did very well with the spells for the royal champion down towards the bottom of the base, but I just fear with the expo in combination with the archer tower, there is not enough. You picked up on this yesterday, Itsu, but you always have to be careful when there is a defense that can do such incredible damage to your queen in a single shot. And we've seen it there with the Grand Warden statue. The ability was not enough. What a game changer that could have been had the queen have taken down that expo and the Grand Warden altar. It could have been a different story, but unfortunately for Mock, it is not the 3-star response that was needed. So we kind of go back to the first attack of this war, Darkest Muzhan getting the 3-star, taking the lead. Then we seen the switch for JX Tiger. We're back to Darkest Muzhan. Is it going to change again, or can Darkest Muzhan just keep their foot on the gas and take this one?
Yeah, it kind of seems like considering the last couple of matches which we just saw, it feels like the team which had the lead is always just keep going, and especially if their team is like one of the World Championship finalists, because so far those teams were on fire today. Only one team of the newcomers were able to beat one of the World Finalist teams, and Darkest Muzan so far is looking really, really good. Even attacks which were kind of going wrong, they somehow managed to get a comeback, which is key right now in those clan wars. And getting even like a 3-star out of this, or getting even like a high percentage, is important. And we have Ty from Darkest Muzan coming in with some dragons. Let's go! Dragons are in, and I'm super excited.
Well, Ty was one of the members of Darkest Muzhan last year. He only dropped one attack throughout the finals, and can you believe it was a 99% as well? So let's see what he has in store for us here with the E-Drag. hopefully taking down that Royal Champion. She was under the poison, but it just wasn't enough to get. How crucial do you think that is, Itsu?
I think with the Babe Dragon clearing out this elixir storage, it's going to be annoying, yes, but I don't think it's going to be the end of the world, kinda. Especially with those loons tanking the first couple of black mines. I think it's totally alright. With the queen now on the outside, the king as well. The more annoying thing is going to be that this king is walking inside. With the king walking inside, it is going to lure out the clan castle if there's like a hound or something ground army based in the clan castle, which it actually is. So there's the hound in there. The hound is in there, which means the hound is going to like stall out the dragons a ton. And now we have this queen still on the outside, but with this king walking on the inside, this is not looking like the best entry he could have hoped for.
Yeah, particularly with the dragons, they attack all buildings, so you do have to be careful on that and funnel everything. Notice how they are clumping a little bit there as well, meaning the Eagle Artillery can get a huge amount of damage. Exactly what I was saying in the Indian Clasher breakdown from last war. Dragons now taking huge damage from the Eagle with a lot of defenses left to go, including the air defense at the back end of the base as well. So I'm not sure if he's going to be able to rescue this one, as everything falling down and the dragons continuing to get hit from the Eagle Artillery, dropping the percentage as well on this one, you could say, for Darkest Muzan, because it is a lower percentage than what we have seen throughout this war. Itsu again opening the door for JX Tiger to try and take the lead here.
Wow, I really feel like those dragon attacks really underperform. Like this is like how many dragon attacks? We did not have too many, right? And then one dragon attack did triple. Yeah, but except this one dragon attack, I don't think a single dragon attack tripled so far. Considering that most of the strategies are like around the 50 to 60% hit rate roundabout, this is not the highest hit rate I would go for strategy-wise. So maybe the players are going to keep choosing not to go with the dragons, because this attack right there is a really good chance for JX Tiger to come back, because if they're going to triple, they're once again right next to Darkest Muzan. They're still going to be in the lead percentage-wise, like 0.6% or something like that. But still, it is already like a step into the right direction. So they need this next 3-star, and that's going to be key to come somehow getting the comeback in this match.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a nail biter, and I think you hit the nail on the head earlier on in the stream, Itsu, when you were talking about Al Mualin of Tompanai Empire, because he used to use the dragons, but now the Inferno dragons are arguably stronger, so he's basically merged his favorite strategy with the current meta, and I feel you always need to take that into consideration. You do need to think about what are arguably the stronger troops in the game, whilst keeping your own style and playing to your strengths. And maybe that is where, if some people are thinking about using dragons, they should maybe be looking at Inferno dragons. It's difficult to say, obviously, with bases being individualized, but I think that was a really important point you made earlier.
Yeah, and now we have the next attack, which luckily I would say at this point is no dragon attack. So we have actually another Queen Charge hybrid. And that's kind of interesting. I don't know if he tried, like, if he forgot about opening the clan castle, or like what exactly the purpose was of having that clan castle flying so far. But either way, it seems like it worked out. He got everything he wanted to get, I guess. And now it's all about the Queen Charge. But there are super minions still there, and they're going to hit those healers.
Yeah, he's going to take a little bit of damage. Does he lose one? He does lose one healer. So a little bit of an error there. Fortunately, the Queen stepped up and did take down the super minions. But one healer is still a healer at the end of the day. 14 army camp space. And it could be crucial as you are doing an ambitious Queen Charge, waiting on the next super wall breaker. Is he trying to get to that centralized multi-target Inferno? And where does he send the wall breaker to try and give access? We see the Headhunter to relieve a bit of pressure from the Queen now that she engages with the Barbarian King. Hybrid already coming in to try and force the Queen towards the center of the base, I would say. With the King on the outside, he should be able to keep the Hybrid moving straight through the middle towards that scatter shot in the open compartment.
Wait a second, I'm just checking out the armor composition. Is this actually a hybrid, or is this just the Queen Charge Miners? Because I feel like there were so many stories at the beginning that Hog Riders would have been just like going ahead and doing nothing at this point. So I feel like this is actually a Queen Charge Miner attack going on without any Hog Riders, at least so far. Considering that he has no siege barracks with him whatsoever, I think this is just going to be a Queen Charge Miner with no Hawk Riders, and the Queen is still going strong, still going for those back-end defenses, and she has to beat a wall really soon. Maybe even it's worth it to use her ability to get this Eagle down as quick as possible, because on this back-end there is still a lot of things still standing. Watch ability to take down some more buildings, but it's all about the back-end with this Eagle. With the Eagle going down, it's looking really good. The Threat Tower is going down as well. And with that Queen and the Royal Champ, okay, the Royal Champ not anymore, but with that Queen alive, it is looking like the next 3-star 4J Tiger. They needed that so bad, and doing it the perfect way over here with the Queen Charge Miner. We have not seen an attack like this in a long time. It's always Queen Charge Hybrid, never the Queen Charge Miners though. So a nice touch to this one, and making it like a unpredictable entry for Dr. Muzan. So this is working out. 99% the last building is going down, and this is 100 with a 3-star.
Fantastic stuff. I feel the Queen Charge got so much value there, and at least one of us has switched on it too. I was just on autopilot with the hybrid, but you did mention an important point though with using just the miners, because if your miners are going to get caught up and your Hog Riders are just going to move forward, then it might not be the best strategy unless you can deploy the miners to take out the buildings first so that everything moves in unison. So it's always good to see people really looking at the base and picking the right strategy for it, even if that is something that's a little bit off meta. But let's shift our focus to the final attacks, because as you mentioned, it is so close right now. It is Darkest Muzan in the driver's seat. If they get the 3-star, it will be the victory, but the percentage is so close that if they were to slip up, JX Tiger could easily take it.
Yeah, it's not a it's really low percentage gap in between of those teams, and so far most of the time, if the team had it in their own hand, most of the teams took the chance, and like just 3-star and the match was over. So let's see if Darkest Muzan can do the same thing again. I hope we're not going to see dragons again, because I have to say, not the biggest threat anymore, but let's see. So we have Kartik. Okay, Inferno Dragons is okay. So it was just meant to have no normal dragons. That's not what I would like to see. But Inferno Dragons, I guess that's a pretty decent strategy right now.
Well, Kartik has a lot of experience. We do know he, was in last year's Darkest Muzan team, and he managed to get a pretty good hit rate in the World Finals, only dropping one attack. Let's see if he can continue that form here and finish things off strong for Darkest Muzan. Interestingly, a headhunter towards the town hall there, Itsu, to set off all of the traps. Really interesting move. I like that.
Yeah, really cool move, making sure there's nothing in there which later on most likely can defend this blimp, because this battle blimp is going to send once again to that tunnel. You want to take that tunnel down as early as possible. And there's the entire Tesla farm. He's trying to push his king into that multi-Inferno Tower compartment. And now we have the Inferno Dragons getting started from the top side. But this means no final heroes at the top left. Those heroes are going to be used already at the bottom side. On the right side, we have the Inferno Dragons kind of struggling with this enemy scatter and the Queen. This is why we need to freeze both. And this so far, energy-wise, is looking pretty solid, with the only problem that his king did not went inside the multi-Inferno Tower, which means Expo and multi-Inferno Tower are keep staying up.
Certainly are. He has to use the Queen's ability as well, which means she will activate the Town Hall, but might not get through. So this Battle Blimp is so important to get on point as we move through the base. The Battle Blimp should be able to get that. Inferno Dragon still doing a great job. He didn't really use many of his skeleton spells to distract the scatter shot in the center of the base, but he does get through it. Still has the Royal Champion only just being deployed, and I like the fact that he keeps the momentum moving with the spell. The final multi goes down. It looks good here, Itsu, with the Royal Champion ability left over. Tons of Inferno Dragons, but just as I say that, black bombs go everywhere. Royal Champion's ability goes off. We only have one cannon left, and down it goes. goes. Darkest Muzan taking things into their own hands. Kartek needed to 3-star, and he is doing exactly that, making sure that JX Tiger can put up as much of a fight as they want, but they will not be getting the victory here as Kartek finishes off strong and gets another 3-star for Darkest Muzan.
That was a crazy finish, and as we already said, somehow the team which has the lead after second attack is going to finish off the war on their own. It's kind of crazy how those pro teams can just push further their lead, pushing it to the limit, and obviously making good use of the pressure which they're putting onto the enemy team. And in the end, JX Tiger, they got close. They got really, really close, to be honest, but Darkest Muzan was just too good today. Too good, too consistent, I would say, especially with that last attack from Kartek, making sure those Inferno Dragons are going through everything. Really nice touch on that Headhunter to trigger any unexpected traps, I would say, and then finishing off in style with that Royal Chain ability to get down out of those cannons and the back-end defense. So really nicely done, and now it's up to JX Tigers. They can once again show us a really cool attack, which they have done so far in this tournament. They have shown a great class which they've done so far in the tournament. Like, really looking forward to see them in the Clash Worlds event overall over the season. I think we're going to see them again because they had a pretty promising start into this tournament, and looking forward to see them again.
I agree. This is definitely not the last we have seen of JX Tiger. They came into this tournament with such incredible creativity and just showing us how good they were on offense and defense. So let's see what they can finish off with here with the Queen. Early damage onto the Queen, but manages to protect her. Now using the Rage spell. Can the hybrid attack, this one is the Miners and Hog Rider Zitsu, can this one get it done to make this war even closer?
Wait a second, I think we saw the space already, didn't we? I feel like this town compartment and everything, we saw the space over the tournament already. Kind of interested to see who used it. I'm not really sure anymore, but either way, the Queen charge is kind of heavy, especially with this clan castle full of headhunters. And now it's all about the Queen charge. Is the Queen going right? Is the Queen charge going the right direction as he planned it? Or is this going to be into a different direction? Because so far it looks like the Queen is not going inside. Now he needs the wall break. Make sure the Queen is redirecting. But the wall break was maybe too late. Not really sure. But the Queen now needs to move on. Needs to take down the King. And then she can't do any more steps to the outside. Otherwise, this scatter shot is going to be on his healers. And this would be obviously a huge bad news. And the Queen is not going for the scatter shot. Oh my god, but the hybrid is star, so the second star should be safe. But this Queen is not doing whatsoever what the attacker planned.
She just wants to keep walking around, and although the scatter shot only got one hit, the multi-target Inferno shreds the rest of the healers. Miners and Hog Riders have got a little bit split up towards the top of the base there, having to just drive everything in to get the Town Hall, the 2-star, but it looks very, very unlikely for the 3-star here, as he just loses momentum through the middle of the base, having to deploy everything at a different timing than what he would have liked to. That central multi-target Inferno just continue to chip away at the troops in both of the compartments, and unfortunately for JX Tiger, it is not going to happen for them here. They wouldn't have won this war anyways, but they have certainly across the tournament, as we mentioned, put on one fantastic display for us. But it is going to be Darkest Muzan, again the team from last year's finals, Itsu, that will be moving forward.
It's just crazy how consistent those Worlds finalist teams are. It is incredible. So let's see if this is going to keep moving this trend. Let's see if we can see this keep happening with the rest of the matches today, because we are still not finished. We have 2 more matches to take a look at. But first off, obviously, congrats to the winner in this match. Darkest Muzan is showing everyone that they are moving into the next round. They're the winners